Hello, Legacy Builders. Welcome back to another episode of the Legacy Pregame Podcast. I am your host, Marcella Mullen Williams, behavioral financial advisor, mindset coach, and legacy strategist for first generation wealth builders. And I am so excited for you to hear my guest on this episode. I was joined by Queenie Donaldson. This conversation was just rich with learned experiences, knowledge that was developed, and wisdom that continues to shine bright through Queenie. Her life, her 25-year career, is something to admire, not just for all that she's accomplished and who she happens to know and the brands that she happens to deal with, but because of her passion for learning and growing through the journey. And you're going to hear that in this conversation. And Queenie masterfully is able to navigate this world of Hollywood and this space that for many can seem intimidating, for many who just lose themselves in it. But she managed to navigate it with clarity of mind and who she is. I am so excited for you to hear this episode. We had a little technical difficulty in the beginning, but please power through it. It gets clearer afterwards. We're able to resolve some issues, and you are going to get a lot out of this. So enjoy, and let us welcome Queenie Donaldson. Let me introduce you to Queenie Donaldson, who is a powerhouse executive, visionary producer, and elite deal maker who has redefined what it means to lead at the intersection of celebrity talent, brand strategy, and cultural influence. As the founder and CEO of Queen's Entertainment Group, Inc., a woman owned global entertainment consultant firm based in Los Angeles, California, Queenie specializes in premium A-list celebrity talent bookings, celebrity brand partnerships, and strategic entertainment consulting for top-tier clients around the world. She has secured celebrity talents for high-profile projects, brand campaigns, and productions featuring global icons including Beyonce, Michael Jackson, Jennifer Lopez, Michelle Obama, Tom Cruise, Robert De Niro, Idris Elba, and the list goes on and on. If I just read off everyone that she has worked with, we will be here for a whole half an hour. So, with more than 2 decades of high impact experience, Queenie has been the trusted entertainment partner for leading multicultural advertising agencies, managing iconic brands like AT&T, McDonald's, Lexus, Hennessy, Brand Jordan, and Nike. Queenie has produced and secured premium talent for major networks, including OWN, VH1, TV1, Showtime, and again, many more, earning a reputation of one of the most respected and connected celebrity talent producers in the industry. Known for her strategic brilliance, discretion, and relentless negotiation skills, Queenie has rightfully earned the industry nickname the Olivia Pope of celebrity talent booking. I love that. Today, Queenie continues to shine in her zone of genius while also mentoring rising creatives and executives. And she is committed to helping others build a legacy, move in purpose, and execute at the highest level. Please join me in welcoming Queenie Donaldson. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Legacy Pregame Podcast, Queenie.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Oh, it is truly an honor. And I'm grateful that we can have this conversation and just allow to viewers to have a glimpse into all the value that you bring into this world. And not just in what you do professionally, but who you are, because that's where it starts. That's where the value actually starts. So let's jump in. Can you share your journey into Hollywood? We want to know how you got there and what inspired you to start Queenie Entertainment Group.
Yes. So my journey was wow. It was not a Hollywood journey, I can tell you that. I wanted to be a forensic psychologist, and all my jobs, everything have been headed there, from a therapist to from working with autistic kids, being a teacher. I was a
Wow.
counselor for girls who's living in group homes. Like I was always around the industry, but I had no interest in being in Hollywood. And then in the late 90s, I got introduced to my first mentor, who was a huge casting director and casting producer, Ruben Cannon. He actually casted the original Color Purple and many, many gazillion other things. And I was teaching at the time, and a friend of mine was like, "You're always good with all these casting and when we're watching movies, like, why did they cast that person?" So he was looking for a casting intern and a few hours a week. And I was like, I'll try it. I was like, I don't even know what it entailed, but it sounded fun. So I went and met with Ruben Cannon, and he offered me the internship. It was only supposed to be for a few months, and it turned out almost a year. So I had the pleasure of being his casting intern, then turned into a casting assistant on the show Girlfriends, which was on UPM Network at the time. We also casted the movie The Brothers, which was Gabrielle Union, Shamar Moore, Morris Chestnut, all the greats. And one day it was during the summer of 2000, and he called me in his office, and I was like, oh my God, what did I do? And he was like, well, BET is about to launch a booming shows, and they're rebuilding their talent department. And he was like, you're really good with these crazy celebrities. He was like, you should consider working in Hollywood full time. And I was like, no, I don't think so. I was like, I'm going to go to grad school and get my master's PhD from Pepperdine University. I was set in stone. And he was like, well, just go talk to them. And at the time, BET West Coast studio was in Burbank. And so I went and I met with Yolanda and Sheila, and they offered me a talent coordinator job, and it was going to start in like 3 weeks. And so I had to make a quick decision on what to do from there. And I talked to my family. First of all, I called my grandparents. They thought I was going to be on BET, which was hilarious. And I was like, no, I'm not going to be on BET. It's a position working behind the scenes, the talent department. So I just decided I'll give it a try and just see, how it feels. And I was like, well, I'll go to grad school. So I started August 2000 at BET Network, and I've been in the industry ever since then. And it's been an incredible journey.
Wow. That sounds like an amazing journey. I mean, to start off with psychology, and of course, that plays a role, I'm sure you've experienced, where you get to use that talent and that skill in dealing with people, including celebrities and brands and everyone that you deal with. So I just love how you you found your way into the industry through someone who saw something in you. And that's so important. I want to also touch on how you are able to be true to yourself with all that is going on. And we have different feelings about Hollywood. People have a lot of opinions. I can understand, because my husband is an actor turned filmmaker. My son is a creator and executive producer. So I hear the challenges. I'm aware of the challenges of Hollywood. How do you manage to stay true to who you are, to your values, while maintaining a 25-year career as a woman entrepreneur in Hollywood?
Yeah, it's the people who you surround yourself with, number one, but just having that discernment, keeping very close relationship with God, because the entertainment industry is it can be tough, it can be tough, and it will test your faith. And again, evolving, growing. When I started in this business, I was in my 20s, and just navigating through it all, and not it will make you grow up, really fast. And to me, I just knew excuse me, that I wasn't going to change who I was as a just Queenie from Fresno. I always say that I'm Queenie from Fresno, and that says a lot because when I do go home, which I'm going to be going home for my 35th high school reunion this fall, people are like, you the same. And that makes me feel good. Not in a way like I'm stagnant, but in a way that I'm still Queenie from Fresno. Like I didn't forget where I come from. I'm in this glamorous industry. I'm, working with all these A-list celebrities, athletes, but I'm still true to who I am. And when I hear that, that makes me happy. And I know my great grandparents and grandparents are smiling down from heaven because I know that is important to them. Always stay true to who you are and don't follow the crowd just because everybody going right, go left. It's and sometimes you'll be the only person, and I've been that only person. And at times, but I really try to listen to my inner voice, which is God's voice. And as I grow, just not every year but just growing my faith, I'm really praying, ask God, like, please show me, is this for me? Whether it's an opportunity, whether it's a relationship, whatever it is, I'm really learning to sit in it. And I think that's what really sustained me, be 25 years in this business. Just figuring it out, not quitting, you know, not quitting. When there's many, many times I wanted to. Sometimes, this year was a very challenging year, extremely challenging year. Sometimes I feel like I'm starting over. And I'm like, man, I've been here so long. Why do I feel this way? It's all a test. It's all trials and tribulations. And what I have to keep saying is just temporary. You got to keep going. And then, I'm like, wait, I've been in this game for 25 years. I need to let me cry, do whatever I got to do. But I'm gonna get my butt up and get to moving. Like I deserve to be here. Tell people you deserve if this is what you want, you deserve to be here. You deserve to be here. And that sometimes you got to have that self-talk, as well.
And I love that about you, Queenie. And I think it's so important for our audience to hear that, especially as first generation high income earners, 6, 7, 8 figure earners. There can be a misunderstanding of you have to change who you are, or you have to start acting a certain way, or even just the not knowing, the unknown. How am I supposed to act? Who am I supposed to be now that I'm in a different tax bracket or whatever it may be? But with you being around A-list celebrities and brands and all that you've dealt with, you made a decision to stand true and to hold on to who you are and your core values. And that is one thing that I really want our listeners to understand, that if you can do that in Hollywood, anyone could do that anywhere. And stay true to who you are, because none of that matters. What matters is the purpose and the mission that has us here, and how to and fulfilling that
Yes.
legacy. You are navigating multi-figure partnerships and projects. How do you manage the emotional side of money, especially when old money fears from your upbringing try to resurface?
Oh, that's a great question because I still struggle to this day, because I came from humble beginnings. And it it really, I think one thing about Hollywood, I didn't understand my value until a little later on. And that came from just, I have mentors who really, when I was negotiating my different deals at different networks and studios, I was always undervaluing myself. And it took one of my mentors, who her name is Leah. She was a VP of talent at VH1, and she was like, um, no, you tell them X amount of dollars. And I was terrified. And that's because of just the mindset. It's so crazy how, things from your past or your family, like we never had enough, or, you're told just, we got to figure it out. Y- and one thing that really that I recognize even through therapy is that when I was younger, even though I didn't have much, if I saw someone less than, who didn't have like a doll, for instance, I would give my doll to my neighbor. And I was just always like that. Like I just always wanted to help even though I didn't have much. But I noticed that as I got older and now become, entrepreneur, and just even as an executive, I was always, oh, I'll just take this, give them to that person, give it. And those are just issues that I didn't even know that really affected the way when I started negotiating my rates and stuff like that. And so it took one of my mentors to really like, no, stop doing that. You know, this is your value. You've put in the work, you deserve this. And it really took me a minute to really be comfortable with that. And so as I was in different rooms and I was seeing how, my peers were negotiating, and I started building up my confidence by being around that and really asking questions. 'Cause at first I was afraid to ask, but as you navigate through, and it's just having those financial mentors, having a good, accountant and a CPA, just people who are financially and have that knowledge to really educate you. And I think that's it. Just it really, like, I'm a great negotiator now. I feel really confident when I'm negotiating, even for myself. I used to feel bad and try to like, oh well, I'll just, I'll work with you. And then my mentor was like, you're not running a charity, you're running a business. And I was like, I know, but and it to this day I am doing better. I will say that I am doing better, and being confident. But that's just, they call me Mother Teresa. Like I'm always trying to make things work, but I definitely had to understand, like, it's okay to, everybody's not going to be able to afford, your services, and it's okay. She was like, you just have to be confident in that room. And that really helped me when I start moving to celebrity brand partnerships and working with agencies and um, different brands that I had to negotiate like real 6, 7 figure deals. It also gave me confidence within my own company, um, to negotiate. So I think it's just something that's you continue to grow in, as you navigate. I'm not always going to get it right, but I definitely know I feel more confident when I'm negotiating deals for myself and for the clients that I work with.
You dropped so many wonderful gems there. And it's so important that as first gens like yourself who are experiencing this journey without a blueprint,
Yeah,
um, that's what you really were talking about there. And I'm a journey girl. I milestones, reaching the goals, all of that's great, but I am all about the journey. It's all
yeah,
about who you are becoming, how you are growing, learning every lesson. It's like squeezing, wringing out a towel. I want to get everything out of the journey, and then
yeah,
the milestone is just the icing on the cake. So I am listening to your journey, and I'm hoping that the listeners are getting everything that you're ringing out, because you are still, as we all are, we are still becoming.
yeah,
Will ever be right in that becoming
yeah,
stage. You are not the Queenie Donaldson today that you were when you were started, and you are not the Queenie Donaldson that you will be in 5, 10 years from now.
yeah,
You are still growing. You are still learning through the beautiful mistakes. I say the beautiful failures, failing forward. You're making these beautiful mistakes that you get to learn from. These are opportunities. So I'm so glad you're able to share that in this journey, and also about the power of those mentors that can guide you. Mentors, coaches, advisors, all of these people, as you said, your financial team, it's necessary for individuals, like I said, first gens, especially running businesses, to understand that a team is absolutely necessary to guide you and help you through the journey. So tell me about mentorship. You've talked about the power of mentorship. And can you share some pivotal moments where a mentor shifted your path? And I know you shared the very beginning. That was a huge shift. But
Yeah.
I'm sure there are others that you could share, and then how you are now paying it forward to others.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that question. Mentorship is everything, and it's just not, professionally. It's personally, it's personal development. Um, I've always paid it forward, like I said, at a very young age, even when I didn't have much to pay it forward. That's just how my great grandparents just always raised me, and to be a giver. And I think being in the entertainment industry, you have to have mentors. You have to have mentors. But one thing that I learned is your mentors can be younger than you. I have older mentors, and I have mentors who I'm of not like super, super older than, but I'm big on learning. Like I feel it's ages, whatever. It's the knowledge, it's the wisdom. And even to this day, like I love having, I'm a Gen Xer, so I love having millennials around me and Gen Zs. Like to me, especially with technology and just everything and AI, like and having my mentors who are my senior, like I just think it's so important that we can always learn and grow from each other. It doesn't matter if you've been in a business 1 year or 20 years. I just always think, just always be willing to learn and grow, and don't feel like, oh, you're 20 years old, you don't know everything. You'll be surprised at this, the youth, and like to me, I love mentoring. We learn from each other. I'm always mentoring, whether it's my interns, whether it's people on my team. That's the teacher in me. I'm always just, making sure that people are seen. They are, they're learning something. I have an open door policy at all times, for especially my interns who are still, most of them are still in college or graduating. And to me, it's not just they're coming to intern and helping my business. I want to know what are their dreams, what are their goals, and that's how I pay it forward. Just always, taking 10, 15 minutes to have conversations outside of the work, like really check in with them, and seeing what resources or tools that I can give them on their journey. So to me, mentorship is everything. And I think it's just something that you just consistently do.
I absolutely love everything that you just shared there, because I could not agree anymore. And I love that you pointed out learning from your mentees, or they are your mentors as well.
Yeah.
It has to be reciprocal. It is the relationship must give, take. It has to go both ways. And I experienced that myself. I've shared that, especially with my kids, who are young adults, who I learned so much from. I mean, they're
Yeah.
constantly pouring into me. And as I pour into them, at this stage, I am a mentor. I'm still their mother, but I act more as a mentor to them.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's important. And we talk about that in the Family Legacy Experience, our program. We work with our clients because a part of building a collaborative effort with families and building generational wealth is the family collaboration, family unity, which starts with that mindset of, wait a minute, we have to share knowledge and grow together. We've kind of, a lot of times, especially maybe in our culture, where, oh, children to be seen and not heard. I heard that growing up. I
I
was
do
told
too. Many, many times.
that. They did not want to hear what we had to say. But we have to understand that is not where growth happens. We have to be able to learn because the world is changing. And you said it, we have to be able to keep up, never stop growing. And you've managed to do that with your interns, with, I'm sure, family members. Like you said, it's personal as well, and it's professional. So, as you talk about personal, professional, and I want to bring it to legacy and what legacy means to you, because I hear it through what you're sharing. And I want our audience also to hear from you on a personal level as well. So, talk to me about what legacy means to you and how do you ensure that your impact continues through others, both professionally and personally?
Yes, well, I am a Monty. I'm a mom auntie. That's what, my nieces and nephew call me. And to me, legacy is everything. I want it to be a great example for them, for each one of my nieces and nephews, being, my a first gen college graduate, first entrepreneur, my immediate family, and just showing them it doesn't matter that we come from this small little town of Fresno, California. Um, you still can dream. You still can dream. You can still grow, and it's not going to be easy, but you can do it. And me just really being present with them. Like when I go home and visit my mom and my sister and my nieces and nephew, like I'm present. I'm not on the phone. I'm not, checking emails. Like I'm present with them, and that to me is important because I talk to them. They're like my little adults because they're so mature to be, 12 and 13 years old. But I just try to show up and be present and let them know that I hear them, I see them, and to have that closeness and that bond is everything to me. So I'm very mindful of that they watch everything I do, that they see everything. So that's the legacy I want them to know. I want to keep them encouraged. I want to keep them inspired despite of, their current circumstances or anything that they, experience, whether at home or at school or, any family situations. Like I want them to know that I'm always here for them, and I see them and they can call me anytime, and just being, a good person, a good family member, a good auntie, a good sister, a good daughter. I just really I work really hard to do that every day. I don't always get it right, but I definitely know the importance because they do look up to me, and I see it, and I understand that responsibility. So that's personal. Professionally, I've always mentored, even especially being a studio network executive. We have a lot of staff and coordinators and assistants and interns, and I've always, again, you would never know I was an executive because I didn't care about a title. I've always had the open door policy because that's what my former boss, who was my mentor, always had with us. So I'm just mirroring everything that Yolanda actually showed me. She really was the foundation. Just even, Ruben Cannon, just watching them and how they interact, and, from meetings to just the big production staff. I mean, it was so many integral moments. Like, when I was at BT, 9/11 had happened, in New York, and how we just all prayed together, in our production office. And it was just, I just remember so many key moments, but just seeing how well she dealt under pressure was so admiring. Like, I was just like, wow, I would love to be a leader like that. Like she always just handled everything with grace, even some of the toughest situations. So to me, just that really started my journey. And she actually encouraged me to start, my company. And even though I didn't really I was doing Queens Entertainment Group on the side while I was doing studio and network jobs and awards and different productions. But I learned everything, just by mirroring what I saw. And I was like, okay, that's the legacy I want to make sure. And so I've always made sure I open doors for those. People ask me, like, where do I get a job? Where do I get this? And that's why I created a series for that, to be able to provide those tangible resources for many, not just those who are currently in Hollywood, those who are interested in either in front of the camera or behind the scenes, just get real resources, not just, oh, well, just Google this and hand people links. People need actually real vetted resources, especially in the entertainment industry. And we are a tough industry. It's a lot of gatekeepers, but I know for me, people open a door for me, it's only it I have to open doors for others. You can't open doors for everybody. I definitely had to learn that the hard way, but I definitely try to have that discernment and really help as many people as I can in this industry, and to show a different side of Hollywood that a lot of times people don't know exist, and know that there are great people, not just myself, it's thousands of us who are here, who are willing to open doors and help you navigate this entertainment industry. So that's how I want my legacy to be when I decide to, retire from this industry.
Oh, that's so powerful. And I have to go back. I just love the Monty thing. It's just so wonderful. I think, and it touches me because I remember once I received a very heartfelt message from a young lady who said that, the time she didn't have any children, she wasn't married, and she just didn't know, like, how could she leave a legacy? She just couldn't connect with that understanding. And
Yeah,
it broke my heart that that was even in her head, that she could not see the value of all that she can offer the world. So I just love that you can speak to the tremendous impact that you have, or with your family, your professional staff, everyone around you is feeling Queenie and Queenie's legacy. You are living your legacy and building and preparing to leave a legacy. And that's what's powerful. And
thank
I have
you.
to ask, you're welcome. I have to ask, are any your nephew and nieces, are they interested in following in your footsteps?
My niece she wants to be a veterinarian, but her and my sister, actually, I hire them all the time when I do major productions. So, they definitely have that bug, and it's so funny when they're in production. A lot of the producers, they think that they've been in the business like forever, because I really groom them to be professional, and just how to navigate, and they're like pros. So I will definitely support them in either way that they decide to be in this industry. I mean, they definitely have someone who will keep it real with them, and make sure that they have a good pathway to navigate through this, because this is a really, really tough industry. We have so many obstacles. We've been still in, from the pandemic to our multiple strikes to the wildfires here, in LA. We're still recovering. The world right now, the US, like, we're just going through a lot. And to me, it can be overwhelming. And a lot of times people can feel like, man, do I need to pivot? Do I need to do this? And, I learned again from Yolanda, when there's chaos, there's opportunities. When there's uncertainty, there's opportunities. You just have to sit. You have to, like, I've been really, really in my Bible and the world and in prayer. I'm actually getting ready to fast too, because there's a lot of things that I want to do, and to make, a difference, and to really bring the Hollywood I knew before technology and social media. I want to feel that earlier Hollywood nostalgia. It's just, I
Mhm.
want to feel some of that. And it's room for opportunity to curate some experiences. And that's what I'm excited for next, is to really create some of that magic so they can know, like, this is how we did it. This is
Yes.
how it felt, and just really bring some momentum and empowerment back to, because it is a tough time, but I feel a lot of us are just, especially us who've been in the business a long time, it's just collaborating and partnering together, and really like, hey, let's let's bring some magic back. It's okay to do some old school, new school stuff. Let's merge this and encourage people. So that's what I'm really excited about, the very near future. That's my focus right now, is to bring that momentum back.
Oh, that sounds amazing, and I look forward to, seeing more about that, and on top of that, I want to touch on the series that you mentioned. So
Absolutely.
tell us about this empowerment series. What inspired it, and how does it serve as a legacy initiative for you?
Yeah, so I created a seat at the table during a pandemic, and I wanted to create a space where, an event series where people can come and not just hear about my accolades and resumes and credits, which a lot of Hollywood people, from my understanding, they do a lot of that, which is fine. They deserve their flowers, but I know people need real resources, real information, real blueprints. Like, okay, I want to be a producer. What should I do first? I'm a writer. I have 50 million scripts. What do I do next? Not just, oh yes, I'm a writer, and if I'm a writer, I'm telling you all these shows, like, okay, what was the steps? I need step by step. What do I do? Do I register? Do I, go to this conference? And so many people were reaching out to me, for both sides, in front of the camera, behind the camera. I'm like, okay, what can I do to bring it all together, And so I came up with a seat at the table, because I always said everyone deserves a seat at the table. And I actually got it from Solange's album, A Seat at the Table. I always to give her props, because my birthday party, that was my theme, one of my 45th birthday party. Then it just kept carrying it on from there. But yeah, it's a brunch series. I did 8 cities in 2022, because I had to wait. We had to wait till after you know, the pandemic,
Yeah.
and it was 25 people. I wanted it to be intimate. I wanted people to be seen. We did many coaching sessions, um, great brunch spread, fed them well. We did affirmations. I shared my story, but I also, had time to talk to each person who came, and really provided them, some tools and resources that they can leave and take with them. And so it was a challenge for me, because I am not a speaker. That's not nothing I strive to be, but I do understand the importance of my platform and sharing my story, and also being a representative of the entertainment industry. I feel it's my duty to give back, and to make sure that I can help, even if it's just one person on their journey. And what I learned from there, it was a lot of misinformation out there. Number one, I went to the cities that people weren't going to, and that was very intentional. And I was just very, so gracious, even though it was hard, it was scary, and all of that. I'm so glad I completed it. And so I am going to be bringing it back, spring 2026, and it's specifically for those who are in the entertainment industry and may need to pivot, or those who are interested and maybe they're in front of the camera. They may want to look into doing some stuff behind the camera. I want people to know what opportunities there are in this business. It's not just 10 jobs. It's so many opportunities. And a lot of times people may not know the title or the job description. They may see, like even for me, people are like, well, what is a talent producer? What's a talent, booker? So I explain that, and I tell them, like, okay, this is how it starts. This is what we do. And it's also just identifying, because some people are like, man, I didn't even know that was a job, or I didn't even know that was an opportunity. If I want to be a wardrobe stylist, how do I start? What do I need? Especially those who are not here in Los Angeles. I want them to have the blueprint. So we're really excited about spring 2026. We're going to be doing 4 cities. We're going to be launching this fall. I'm doing a big, big marketing campaign. And then in the fall of 2026, we're going to do a 2-day summit, which is going to be array of speakers of different positions in Hollywood, and actors, actresses, producers, every part of the industry that you can think of, because we wanted to do something intimate. A lot of people like the brunches, and I do too, because it's very personable. But we also wanted to incorporate a big summit where they can get an array of resources. So when they leave, everyone will have their blueprint. They will know, okay, these are two things that I want to try out. This is where I know I can go give me an intern, or I can get a temp job, or I can work at a studio. I know I need to register my script before I start shopping it. So we really cover so many bases, basic one-on-one Hollywood, playbook, you should say. So I'm really excited. This is one of my projects that it is going to be one of my legacy projects that will live on and will continue to grow. And we're going to do some international dates as well, because there are, so many opportunities in Hollywood, but people just need to know how to get them, what to do, what are the necessary steps, instead of just sitting in a computer and Googling, not knowing if those resources, are those correct? Are they legit? So we did all the vetting for them. And so they really have insider resources to start them on their journey. So I'm really, really proud and excited, especially for the next one. I learned, what not to do from the
Of course.
2022, and what to do, and understand my growth and the mistakes, and grow from there. And I spoke to a lot of people and got a lot of great feedback, because to me, you have to be prepared for that. And a lot of times people don't like to be critiqued. They think they're perfect, and I'm a beautifully flawed person, and I love growing. I learn from people every day. I learn something new every day. My grandfather always told me to never stop learning. And to me, I love the feedback I got, and I understand the importance. I have people emailing me, when is seat at the table coming back? And so it's just giving me that encouragement to know that, it is a need. And I also want them to see different parts of people in Hollywood, that we're not just an industry full of gatekeepers or craziness that they may read about. They're actually good people who have great careers, who's going to be honest with you, and really, help you on your journey, and give you that encouragement and momentum that you need to keep going.
Ah, absolutely. That is just phenomenal, Queenie. I love everything about the series. I love that you are now creating the blueprint that you did not have.
Yeah,
You are creating the thing that you wish you were given. What and this is what we talked about before with journey and the experiences and learning. You went through this 25-year journey, and you had people who gave back. You learned along the way, and now you're creating a shortcut. You created
yeah,
a shortcut so that
yeah.
those who are interested don't have to take the long road, the
Or make
detour
the mistakes that I made.
route.
Yes,
But they get to take, okay, the shorter route to learn. And for Mark and I, we this is what we're all about. This is what we're doing as well. It's about creating the opportunity to take the less complicated path. You're going
Yes.
to make your own mistakes.
Yes.
We're human. It comes with the territory. You're
Absolutely.
going to fumble, you're going to fail, you're going to make mistakes. None of these are bad things. It's a part of life. What
Yes.
you want are people in your life that can create opportunities to you for you to avoid as many as possible. So you only have to deal with the ones that are necessary.
That's
That's
right.
you like. So that's what I love about the seat of the at the table. And I just want to make sure that one of those cities is in the Washington, D.C. area. And if it's not, you need to add 5 cities
I'm
and not four.
actually it we were still finalizing, but that is definitely going to be one of the cities for sure. I have my DC family out there been side eyeing me, so I definitely I will be in that area for sure.
I am so looking forward to the event, and please thank your family for all the side eyes, for getting you over here. Because I definitely want to be a part of that, and just to see you, to see you, and I
I
like I
would love that. I'm so excited. I haven't been to DC since 2022, so I love the DC area. And again, when we talk to people in the cities and see if there's what the needs are. Like I want to talk and make sure that it makes sense. The cities that where we're going and the needs are there. So that is how I decide to really make sure that I'm going to the right cities because of course everyone wants to go to LA and Houston and Atlanta. I'm like, who going to Charleston, South Carolina? Who's going to Mobile, Alabama? There's some stars in there. There's some talent in there. So that's me. I like to go where the people aren't going because that's where you find the gems. And that is something I've always, really focused on to really go where the needs are.
that's your heart. That's why I really enjoyed this conversation. Your heart is pure gold, and I absolutely love that about you, Queenie. Giving is your nature, and you're learning how to give while setting healthy boundaries for yourself. And
Yes, it's a work in progress with the boundaries, but I have great help to ensure that I'm doing that. It's again, I'm to me, I just it's a everyday thing. You just keep working to be the best person that you can, and that's all we can do. Just continue to grow.
that's right, everyday thing. And I want to close this wonderful conversation, with a question that I'm asking all guests. And I want you to complete this statement for me. In your words, I want you to state, this is Queenie Donaldson, and this is the legacy that I'm living and leaving in the world.
Okay, I'm Queenie Donaldson, and this is the legacy that I'm living and leaving in the world. And that is kindness, compassion, empathy, opportunity, and just love. Love.
Yes, love. I love that. Queenie, it has been such a joy speaking with you today. Thank you for being a part of the show and this conversation. And I want you to just share anything else that you would want the audience to know. Let us know where we can find you and reach out to you.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. I am heavily on LinkedIn, so feel free to connect with me under Queenie Donaldson on LinkedIn. I welcome, new connections. I'm a big networker and connector. And my website is www.queensentertainmentgroup.com. You can definitely check us out and see what our service is. And if we can be of service to you, definitely drop us a note there. And yeah, it's been an honor. I'm really appreciative of this opportunity. So thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here, Queenie. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for this episode of Legacy Pregame Podcast with Queenie Donaldson. And we will see you next time. Until then, live wisely, build wealth, and prepare with purpose.